Do you feel like you and your husband keep having the same fight over and over again? You talk about it, think you've resolved it, but next week you're having the same argument again. This can start to feel exhausting and confusing. In this video, I'll tell you exactly why this keeps happening and what you can do to finally stop these repetitive arguments from hurting your relationship more. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is thinking that they're arguing about the situation in front of them. But most of the time, they're actually arguing about a feeling that keeps getting triggered. And that feeling can show up in many different situations. For example, let's say the core feeling underneath your argument is this: feeling unimportant. Now, once you have an emotional trigger or vulnerability like that, it can show up in a lot of different moments in your relationship. And by the way, we all have vulnerabilities. For me, it's always been feeling invalidated and feeling unimportant. That's what I'm sensitive to. For someone else, it might be feeling alone in their relationship because in their childhood, they felt alone. All of us have these emotional triggers and no one is immune from that. So there's nothing wrong with you for having an emotional trigger. So for me, if I feel unimportant, or if you're sensitive to that feeling, if I share that something hurt my feelings and you dismiss it, I feel unimportant. If I ask you to do something and you never do it, I'd feel unimportant. If you prioritize something else over me, over spending time with me, again, I'd feel unimportant. So suddenly the argument can look different in different situations because we're talking about different topics apparently. We're talking about why didn't you get me the thing I asked you to get me? We talk about why didn't you spend quality time? But underneath all these arguments, it's this vulnerability that every time you do this, it makes me feel unimportant. Emotionally, you're actually having the same fight. You're fighting to feel valued and important. Now, this is just one example, but all of us are fighting with emotions. Emotion is the thing that's driving these arguments and fights. So I want you to get curious. What feeling is underneath your arguments? Is it feeling unimportant, devalued, criticized? I want you to dig deep and write down in the comments below what you're noticing. Maybe bring to mind the last argument you had with your husband and go underneath and see what you were actually feeling just before the argument started. I'm going to give you a very practical example from my own private practice. Let's say you ask your husband to do something for you around the house, like a daily chore. He says he'll do it. A few days go by, nothing happens. Now the argument starts about the task, but inside you're thinking, if I mattered to you, you would have done it without me having to push you and ask for it. I'll give you another example. Maybe you open up about something that hurts you, and he responds with, you're overreacting. Now the argument becomes about whether you're being sensitive. But underneath it, you're kind of thinking, what I'm feeling doesn't matter to you. And I feel so sad. Again, different situation, same emotional wound. Now here's where things get tricky. Most of us don't actually notice or say the deeper feeling. Instead, we go straight to the complaints. Instead of saying, I feel unimportant, we say things like, you never listen. You never follow through with your promises. You don't care. You always ignore me. Of course, we say this because having a complaint feels safer. You're in your angry state. It's protective. It protects you and shields you from showing more vulnerability. Because if you were to actually say to him, I'm actually hurt, I feel unimportant, I mean, that's risky. You're really opening yourself up to being exposed and vulnerable and getting hurt. So of course it feels safer to stay in complaint mode. But here's one thing you need to know. If you are a woman, you need to know that complaints often backfire with a lot of men. I mean, also as a woman, if you're at the receiving end of just complaints, it doesn't feel good. So these complaints backfire, especially with men, because many men are sensitive to shame. So when they hear a complaint like you never listen, you don't care, their brain hears, I'm being blamed, I'm being attacked, I'm failing. So instead of hearing your pain, they start defending themselves because they're in self-protection mode. And that's why the conflict escalates. Now, what's the solution to all of this? How can we step out of this vicious cycle? Of course, I teach couples how to step out of this cycle of argument in my mini course, Conflict to Reconnection. You can learn more about it under this video. But to move on and give you that solution, here's what you need to do. Instead of saying, "You never listened to me," say something like this. "When I share something important with you, I feel dismissed. I start feeling like I don't matter to you, or my feelings don't matter to you." Now, this lands very differently for him. Now you're sharing your experience. You're not accusing their character. Another example, a complaint. "You never do what I ask." Instead, use I statement and reframe it. "When I ask for help and it doesn't happen, I end up feeling unimportant." See the difference? One triggers defense, the other invites understanding. Most couples aren't stuck because they keep arguing about the wrong issue. They're stuck because the same old feeling underneath gets activated and they're unaware of it. So these emotions keep running this vicious cycle between them. Once you start recognizing this emotional pattern, the way you relate to your partner and the conversation changes. Instead of arguing about the situation, you start talking about the emotion driving the conflict. And that's where real change and shift happens. Now, if you're in a situation where you're tired of repeating the same patterns and you want to finally have conversations that bring you closer instead of pushing you apart, then you absolutely need to sign up for my relationship coaching program. After doing this program, what you'll start to notice is, instead of noticing like every difficult conversation is going to turn into another fight, you feel more confident bringing things up, your partner becomes less defensive, and both of you start understanding each other in a way that actually moves the relationship forward. And you won't be doing this on your own. Throughout this 3 months program, you'll have my daily support. So if something comes up in your relationship and you're feeling stuck, I'm there to help you through it. People who have participated in the program have noticed these changes. Their conversations start to be calmer. They're able to resolve issues faster, and things that used to turn into big arguments start getting handled in a much productive way. You can apply to the coaching program at parisacounselling.com/relationship coaching, or apply from the link right under this video. Once you apply, I'll let you know within 24 hours if this is the right fit.